This video is how to make money, and I'm going to give you the answer. The way you do it is you find a problem and you solve it. And I know you say that doesn't make any sense, but I will explain. I was in a resort town and I needed to rent an apartment. And the way you would do it is they would have guys that like ride around on their bikes on the beach, and they go up to you and they say, "You need an apartment. You want a fun place to stay. You want to go to a nice club." They would ask you what touristy things you want. You want to rent a boat. You know what I mean? And you say, "Yeah, I want to rent an apartment." They say, "Okay, I know a guy who has an apartment," and it's always only one or two. And I went to every building. It was about 30 buildings, and I went to the security guy. Any apartments for rent, almost always one. And he would give me the phone number of the owner. And what ended up happening is I had a list of like 30 or 40 apartments in the town for rent and how much they rented for, how many bedrooms, the phone number. It was usually a woman who was the landlady. And that is how you make money. Because I now have something that took me all day or a couple days to do that is worth money to someone. And I decided, I stayed there for a short period of time. And the reason why I left is because they want you to pay the tourist rate. They want you to pay 250 a night US dollars. And I'm like, no, I want monthly rate. I want to pay 250 a month. And don't tell me that your place is always booked because it's a weekend, it's Saturday, and it's obviously empty. They were all empty. So another example is I thought about making a rental business where I would go to buildings. I was in another city, a big city, million people. Hired a taxi driver, and I said, "Let's get a newspaper. You translate, you make the phone calls, you make the appointments to get me an apartment." And we would see like 5 or 6 apartments a day until I finally found one. And as I'm doing this, I'm building a list of apartments, and he was not only the taxi driver, but he was the head of all the taxi drivers. Like he had 1,000 drivers that worked for him. And because I was American, that's why he showed up, because he knows that I'm going to give him big tips. So he would spend all day with me, became a friend of mine. Um, and I thought, why not do this? There's no website. This was a long time ago, 10 years ago. No website with all the rental properties in the city. And then I can make a sign that you put in the window for rent and put my website address. And I'll be, this is an amazing idea. And I talked to people about it and I said, "Do you want to do this with me? We could do it in all sorts of different cities around the country. We could control the apartment rental market worldwide." Nobody was interested. And even though I had the idea, my other businesses were doing well. So I never did it. And I eventually moved out of that city. So that's how you do it. You find a problem that people need to solve, and you do the work and you solve the problem, and then you sell that service. Um, just think about something that you had difficulty doing in your life, and you'll find somebody who will be willing to pay for that. It could be absolutely anything. Okay, so the same obviously is going to be true for services. I'm going to give you another example. I had to apply for a business visa to live in Colombia, and I had a lot of problems. There was always, they would reject it. You have to do it a second time. You have to pay an additional fee. They'd find problems with it. You'd make certain mistakes, certain things you don't understand. You went to the wrong office. They don't tell you how to do it. Teach people how to do it and charge them for that service. And you don't charge them millions of dollars. Charge them a reasonable amount of money. So find a problem to solve, or find something that you did that was difficult that you can explain to other people, and you offer that as a service. If you have any questions or comments, please post below.